this video, I'm going to show you how to understand and memorize all 6 trig derivatives for the rest of your life. So, first key observation. Anytime you, this feels green to me, anytime you take the derivative of a co, you'll notice you incur a negative sign. So the derivative of cosine, there's a negative in its derivative. The derivative of cotangent, there's a negative in its derivative. And the derivative of cosecant, there is a negative in its derivative. So that's our first rule. The derivative of a co yields a negative sign. Of course, I'm writing that like super conceptually, but now we have it highlighted. It feels green in our head. Next observation. You'll notice that whenever you take the derivative of a tan, this feels pink in my head. Anytime you take the derivative of a tan, you incur a square in the derivative. So notice how I'm highlighting the t in tangent as well as the t in cotangent. You incur a square. So anytime you have a tan, that's going to lead to a square. That's our second key idea. Last, but certainly not least, this one will really unlock everything for you, in my opinion. Anytime you take the derivative of a secant, so SC or SEC for secant, anytime you take the derivative of secant, you'll notice that you have itself, and then you have multiplication by its tangent buddy. Its tangent buddy. Now, by the way, trademark, copyright me. I don't think anyone's ever uttered that phrase before in their life. However, this observation is very, very helpful. Whenever you take the derivative of anything that is a secant, whether it be secant or cosecant, you'll have itself, and then it's multiplied by its tangent buddy. So there is this pairing. You'll notice that tangent and secant are buddies. They're best friends. The derivative of tan is its secant buddy squared. Anytime you see the word tan, it's really going to be the derivative of a tan is its secant buddy squared. So the derivative of tangent, tan pairs with secant, so that'll be secant squared. The derivative of cotangent, notice how you have it's buddied up with cosecant. So since it's a tangent, there is a square in our answer. But also, since it's a co, there is a negative in its answer. So again, the derivative of any tangent is its tangent buddy. It's secant squared. So tan pairs with secant squared, cotan pairs with cosecant squared, but since there's a co, there's also a negative. So let's just key in. I'm going to key in on these ideas again. So in your brain, tan is paired with secant, cotan is paired with cosecant. So this middle region, again, the derivative of tan is secant squared. Again, that should feel, we'll have it be pink in your brain. Since we're taking the derivative of a tan, we have the square of its secant buddy. Tan pairs with secant. Cotan, it feels sort of natural that it should pair with cosecant. But again, do not forget your minus sign because you were taking the derivative of a co. Now, whenever you're taking the derivative of a secant, whether that be secant itself or cosecant, you'll have itself multiplied by its tangent buddy. Okay, so secant again pairs with tan, so the derivative of secant x is just itself times its tan buddy. Secant is paired with tan. The derivative of cosecant x, well, the derivative of co is negative. So we have our negative sign. We have itself, which is cosecant again, and then multiplied by its tangent buddy. Cosecant is paired with cotangent. Now this should be very, very helpful for you, whether you're taking derivatives or then if you're taking antiderivatives. As long as you truly know your derivatives, working backwards, taking antiderivatives, or integrating should be a snap. So let's, oh, and I mean, I should have kicked it off with this, but you must have that the derivative of sine is cosine. The derivative of cosine, since it's a co, of course, you will incur the negative sign, pun intended. Okay, so those are the six key I mean, you could just memorize them, or you can have this conceptual understanding. There's really 3 conceptual rules. Let's just reiterate these one more time. Let's do it kind of blank. Anytime you take the derivative of a co, you incur a negative symbol, a negative sign. Next up, anytime you take the derivative of a tan, you incur a square of its secant buddy. That just covers those 2 right there. And then last but not least, anytime you take the derivative of a secant, you have itself multiplied by its tangent buddy. So you have to pair secant and tan in your mind, and you have to pair cosecant and cotan in your mind. So now let's just give these a whirl. Someone asks you, what's the derivative of secant x? You say, well, there's no co, so there's no negative sign. Since this is derivative of secant, it's going to be itself multiplied by its tangent buddy. Someone asks you the derivative of cotangent. In your head, highlight green, you know that there's going to be a negative. And then anytime you take the derivative of a tan, you get the secant buddy squared. Cotan pairs with cosecant, just like tan pairs with secant. So that's really the key idea in a nutshell. Again, let's just fill in the gap a little bit more. The derivative of cosecant x, well, it's a co, so that should be green in your head. That's a negative. And then you have itself multiplied by its tangent buddy, which in this case is cotangent, because we're dealing with cosecant. Someone asked you the derivative of tan x. There's no negative sign, but we do know that tan pairs with secant, and anytime we take the derivative of a tan, we should have our secant buddy squared. So I hope this has been helpful. I really want this to stick in your brain. And feel free to tell your friends about tangent buddies. Also, I love to solve puzzles and do math and computer science, so feel free to give me a follow. Tell me what you need in comments. I'll make you a video. Have a beautiful day.